Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Markets Hunters Podcast. I am your host, Hunter Gaylor. I'm going to be joined today with Robert Liscouski, the CEO of Quantum Computing, Inc., where we have been following the incredible journey that this company has been on with tremendous innovation. So we'll bring him in shortly to cover a lot of really groundbreaking new technologies that they have. We're going to talk to him about what's going on with their NASA contract, as they've moved to yet another extension of that contract, which is really, really great for industry. So we're excited to talk to them about that. A quick couple of housekeeping rules. As our network is expanding, we're offering more and more audience programs. Make sure you out the Quantum newsletter that goes out Mondays every week, where we're following along what is happening in the quantum computing industry, mainly focused around what QCI is doing. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I know there's been a lot of questions on Twitter moving over to X. We are still on Twitter and X. So we will be Xing or tweeting or whatever they're going to be calling it, but we'll still be able to find all of our content there, along with Instagram, YouTube. As always, you know the places to get it, and we will be keeping this information flowing in a regular way and keep the information coming to you in a very rapid manner because there's a lot going on. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Robert Liscouski from QCI. Bob, good morning. Great to have you on the Markets Hunter podcast. We got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, good morning, Hunter. Good to be here again.
So let's just really kind of, hit the ground running. We've been talking a lot about the evolution of what you've been doing at QCI from an innovation perspective. One of the big things is this NASA contract. There was a lot of movement in industry. We saw a lot of interest and support when you announced that you were going after the NASA contract. You went after the NASA contract. You got awarded the NASA contract, or part of it. Then you got awarded again. And now you're on a third time. I want to make sure I'm right in saying that because there's the press that came out, and I want to cover that before we kind of dive into some of the new innovations. So
Sure.
I'd like to give the floor on that because this is a subcontract award for NASA. So Bob, why don't you walk us through a little bit about what that means for QCI?
Yeah, so this contract's interesting. This is, as you pointed out, it's our third contract with NASA, but this is a slightly different one. The other two were regarding our LiDAR capability. This is a different project. This is through the something called BERI. It's the Bay Area Environmental Research Institute, which is part of NASA. It's a basically what they are asking us to do is to help them. Our implementation of this is our photonic sensor capabilities again. So we're going to be creating this or developing for them and building for them. We've already developed this capability. We've done this demonstrably. We're going to wind up building them a capability that's going to be a photonic sensor, which they're going to use for atmospheric measurements, such as particulates as clouds and aerosols or smoke plumes and things like that. It's part of NASA's environmental approach. So this is a really interesting opportunity for us because it just demonstrates further that we have photonic quantum computing capabilities that we can commercialize. We've got government interest. And I don't want to downplay it, but by the same token, we've been doing everything we've been saying we were going to do, which is commercializing this great technology that we've been building in the laboratory and putting it into, in this case, government use, not quite commercial, but government use, and just we're plugging right along.
Well, I think that's really great because, we've been following this, and as we've been following it and having our conversations on the program, we've really been seeing these things come to fruition, which I think is really great. But I want one note here. There's a quote from Dr. William McGann in this quote where it says, once fully commercialized, market applications are numerous. One being it could play a major role in gas emissions monitoring, petroleum processing, fertilizer manufacturing. Right there alone, we've seen a lot of talk in industry with regards to carbon emissions, what's going on with ESG and some of these things. So do you feel that this is the, not even with the defense side, but, just on the industrial manufacturing side, this will be widely adopted by the private sector?
Well, I can't predict the adoption, of course, but what I certainly can do is tell you that there's a great opportunity for us in the commercial market space. The applications in the environmental market are, as you just read, they're great. It can be applied across the board for emissions monitoring, chemical and fertilizer monitoring, manufacturing monitoring, a whole variety of applications that have both environmental implications as well as manufacturing efficiency implications to them and safety implications to them. So, we are just getting into that. I think this NASA contract is going to be a great demonstration for us to show that we have this capability. We're looking to build partnerships with engineering firms and others that are already market facing. QCI's go-to-market plan is to look for our work with partners, identify partners that can get us into the market space. We don't want to be the experts on those particular domains. We just want to be the experts in what we can do to provide value there. And I think the commercial opportunities for us are very promising for us.
Well, and just to add to that note, the Ames Research Center, NASA's Ames Research Center, one of 10, as quoted here, the center employs 2,300 research personnel, annual budget $860 million. They're eager to begin work with such a distinguished and renowned group. So, those partnerships are clearly taking place here, along with some of the
Right.
Educational academic institutions that you also have announced in the past.
That's right. I think, just as an aside, I think what's interesting is, our mission has been, to convince the marketplace that quantum technologies are here today. They're not a future capability, although there's clearly opportunities in the future for more development for quantum. But our approach to quantum, particularly in the photonic side, allows us to be able to enter the marketplace with real solutions that can be applied to commercial applications today. And I think that's fundamentally different. What we've heard over the years, people have a tendency of thinking quantum computing as being the only application for quantum technologies. And while the computing market's huge, and we're obviously playing in that space, these adjacent markets, such as imaging and sensing and even cybersecurity, give QCI a very unique position in the marketplace to apply these technologies with our core photonic capability. We can use that core capability and address these other markets in addition to computing, and show or bring value to our shareholders by this wider approach to the marketplace. I think we're one of the few companies clearly that have that opportunity to do that. And this is just another example of our ability to do that.
Well, I have a lot of conversations with colleagues and at various gatherings, and just conversations where we talk about really what quantum computing is going to mean for the industry, especially with the rise of ChatGPT 3, 4, the rise of AI, some of these unbelievable applications that are setting industries afire. Really, that's what's happening. I mean, people are trying to figure out how we're going to use various sectors of AI, but understanding the computational foundation behind AI being that platform, which is quantum computing. And Robert, this leads me into my kind of next series of questions I want to cover with you, and some news that just recently came out on QCI. Right here, you launched the first quantum photonic vibrometer featuring groundbreaking capabilities in detecting highly obscure and non-line of sight objects at great distances. This is the first, from what I'm hearing, and we were talking a little bit before the program, and I'd like to get into this a little bit more from your perspective. Vibrometers have been around, but this is the first quantum-enabled vibrometer, non-line of sight at great distances. Can you break that down for our audience and what that means, and as a result, why that's so important?
Yeah, so based on our market research, we're not aware of anybody else that's doing this using photonics. As you point out, vibrometry is well known. It's well established in terms of capabilities, but using photonics for vibrometry is different, and in this case, we believe it's unique. But whether it's unique or not in terms of the application, I think what's really the market opportunity here for us is, as you point out, we have the ability to, and we've done this and demonstrably again, we can show where you can use vibrometry to do everything from assessments of faults in metals, metal fatigue. You can identify metal fatigue based upon the vibrations and the reading of the photons. So imagine you wanted to survey bridges for any faults as a commercial application, or buildings or aircraft wings, things like this. There's a wide market application for vibrometry. It also has other uses to it as well, as we pointed out, where we can we can go through water or go through the ground to identify and detect metals and identify what those metals are. So there are military applications for that, or there is also humanitarian applications for that. With regard to, say, demining operations, right? So if you're looking for metals underneath the ground to be able to determine if, in fact, you might have a minefield, as an example. But these technologies, what's really beautiful about this, and again, beneficial for us as a market, is that the core capability of what we have on photonics has the power to create these adjacent market applications. And I say adjacent, so quantum computing, and then the adjacent markets of imaging and sensing, using the core, our ability to detect single photons, and use that to demonstrate that we can use these for commercial purposes. On the acoustic side, interestingly, we can capture a voice from a distance. I mean, several kilometers away, and identify not just what's being said, but also who's saying it. You can imagine military applications or intelligence applications for that. So there are these dual use capabilities, and it's pretty interesting to see as we develop these technologies what these applications really can bring.
The ultimate spy gadgets in the new James Bond movies are going to be identified, around. Pretty interesting. So, but
but if I could just hit on that, I mean that's an interesting, it's sexy, right? Talk about that stuff, but the commercial applications have much more widespread capability to them. And as I've always said with these technologies, it's what we think today we can do doesn't compare, or it pales in comparison to what we think the next generation of scientists will be able to do with these technologies, right? I think that's the thing for me that's the most exciting. When we can get these technologies in the hands of the younger generation today, right? Kids that are in school today that are going to be coming into the field, and unleash their imagination with these technologies, I think it's going to be it's exciting, and that goes across the board for quantum computing.
Well, no, you've been saying that since day one, and I think once you're really what we've talked about from the beginning is the fact that the QCI is that fundamental building block of which engineers and scientists and everyone can start creating what those applications are on top of your platform, right? And I think that's
right.
Really what we've been talking about from the beginning, right? Especially.
Yep.
And I just want to read one of the quotes here because I think it's very important, right? The launch of QCI's quantum photonic vibrometer demonstrates the breadth of your developing product line, right? You're leveraging your core competencies, which is something that we always talk about, at least on this program, where you're achieving high speed, single photon sensitivity, strong noise rejection that enables you to develop innovative and cost-effective quantum solutions for remote sensing applications. So this is something that's very important in the marketplace that I really want to drive home for the audience here, is when you can lower the cost for people to get access to this type of technology. It's not like you have to be some major university or some major corporation. This is an affordable, relatively simple to acquire technology to be able to create industry applications. And I believe, isn't that the foundation of what you're doing at QCI?
For sure. We talk about the democratization of quantum computing and quantum technologies, and we believe that these technologies are going to bring such value to both commercial use, business use, as well as to society. We want to get these technologies out there, and our goal here is to be able to take these applications, work with partners, get them into the marketplace as quickly as we possibly can. And I can just tell you from my time in the government, particularly when I was at Homeland Security, the applications of technologies such as this in particular that can identify failures or potential failures in infrastructure, has wide sweeping implications to it. We would talk about safety and security of bridges and other structures. Being able to assess those structures at scale is something that we've always been wanting to do, and the technologies that are out there today are not that efficient, and we believe that this will have that kind of major impact to that technology. So we're working hard on those things. To your point, costs, for us, we always look at, bringing the size of these technologies down, making them less, more cost effective, more efficient. Central to that is our ability to develop, our quantum computing chips, as we've talked about in the past. So, we have our plan and our roadmap to develop our own fabrication plant to be able to manufacture our chips so we can actually achieve the levels of cost that we're talking about. So there's a lot here in the future for us to be able to work on. We're working on it very aggressively and very deliberately. And the goal here is to bring the greatest value to our shareholders, right? And to society, and to do good with quantum. And it sounds like, that might be, I'm not trying to be altruistic about it, but I know if we do really good at what we can do, we can bring real value to society, we can bring real value to the business community with these quantum technologies, we're going to bring tremendous value to our shareholders.
Well, and I think on that note, just to add a little, journalistic endorsement here to that, one of the things about adding shareholder value is acquiring customers and generating revenues. That's always an important aspect. And for the vibrometer in the press release, you are taking orders. So
we are.
Yep. You are taking orders for this, correct?
We are. And now, delivery on that's going to be, we have got a few months out for delivery in terms of scaling, but certainly, we're talking to, without getting into a lot of details, we are talking to some folks in the government about, application of these technologies. We're very focused in the government space, and we believe that those technologies will really add value to a lot of different applications that the government would be interested in.
Well, I think right there that's testament to the fact that if I was a shareholder in the company, I would definitely be excited that these products aren't just talk; they're actually going into the marketplace, which is what you said from the beginning from our conversation.
Yep. That's right.
It's you say what you're going to do it, and then here are the results. And the results we've seen it with NASA right here. For all of our audience members, go back and actually, I'm going to a shameless plug into the Market Hunters program. We're going to have a mashup of all the quantum videos that we've been doing as one large kind of document series we've been putting together with Bob. So if you want, you'll be able to go back and follow the journey that we've done over the past many months. But to your point, you said that you were going to go after NASA. You went after NASA. You rewarded it not once, not twice. You're on the third. So it's just more applications and news like this, I think, is testament to the fact that unlike other organizations or what industry may say, it's not just talk. There's actual, real, demonstrable, evidence being shown that this is working and it's working well.
Right. Well, and I'll say, just to kind of build on that too, because listen, we're a small company, right? But we have a big punch, and I've always said this, is that we're addressing the market with our core capability, quantum computing. With our photonic capability, we're making tremendous headway on the computational side. Right? We have our Dirac 1, our EQC, which is delivering value by taking on large problems in excess of over 10,000 qubits, right? Comparative to some of our competitors that they're at the 5,000 level, we don't have to error correct. So 10,000 qubits or 10,000 qubits, so we can solve some really interesting problems with. We're going to be releasing some additional computing capabilities that will even take that further. We just released our reservoir computer, which is an FPGA version of what we're going to be doing on the photonic side. But it's an edge computer that can already, as we talked about the last time, help in the AI space. So we can do AI at the edge by providing more efficient capabilities to train data, lower power capability, distributed at the edge, lower cost. So we're just executing and delivering, as we keep saying here. We're going to keep producing these technologies and iteratively, and eventually, we'll get to a gate model machine, and which will be truly a general purpose quantum computer. But photonics driving all this capability is our core technology. All the research we're doing on the core capabilities gives us this power to be able to be a very small company that has a lot of opportunity in the marketplace, computing, imaging, sensing, cybersecurity, because we have this core capability. And that's foundational to our success, and that's what we're going to be building on. And that's where the value is really driving for the shareholders.
Well, no, I listen, it's always a pleasure to be able to speak with you, Bob, and go through what really this means for the future, what it means for various industries, what it means for our educational sector, for, as you said, students and researchers and schools getting their hands on this technology and letting their minds, be unleashed and run wild with what can really happen with this technology. And so I think it's definitely a serious game changer. Is there anything that you want to add in closing? I'll give you the last 30 seconds here if there's anything exciting that you want to tell us that's going to be going on. Obviously, this is exciting, but anything on the horizons that you're really excited about?
Well, I mean, we've talked about our roadmaps. I think we'll let that kind of lie until we'll give you an opportunity to talk about that as we release them. But we're working hard on these, as I mentioned to you. I will tell you that the evolution of our EQC, our Dirac One, into a greater capability going well beyond 10,000 qubits is on our short-term roadmap. And we hope that we can show where photonic quantum computing is going to be advantageous over classical computing here in the not too distant future.
Well, we're definitely going to be continuing following this journey. So as always, Bob, thanks so much for being on the program, and we'll definitely follow up and just congratulations on the continued success.
Thank you, Hunter. We appreciate the time.
Thank you so much. All right, that was Robert Liscouski, the CEO of Quantum Computing Inc., QCI. Their stock symbol is QUBT. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. It's truly a game changer, and we can't wait to see how the industry is going to react and shape the future. And so for all of our listeners out there, don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. And, stay tuned, because we're going to bring you more episodes on the latest innovations where we have the in-depth conversations. This isn't like any other program. We give it to you straight. You hear it straight from the leaders that are running these companies and the innovation, and that are driving the markets into tomorrow and shaping the future. So until next time, happy hunting with Market Hunters.